Okay, so I'm Abby.
I'm Siglani.
I'm Patience.
I'm Lakeisha.
And I'm Kyra.
And this is discussion number 2, taking a close look at protocols. So the first question is it appropriate for the nurse manager to say that Alex has no choice but to go to the unit to provide care that she is unfamiliar with? I thought it was like unfair and kind of like fair, like it was both, just because like yes, she's the manager, so she does have like the right to assign you to wherever is staff is needed, but also like the way that she came about it, I kind of felt was rude. And like if Alex, right, that's her name, Alex.
Mm-hmm.
If Alex wasn't comfortable like going to the other unit because she's never been there, I feel like that should have been like addressed and like been like, hey, we'll get you some more training. That way you're comfortable to go to that unit.
Yeah, I felt the same. I was a little torn between it just because, like, yes, because obviously she's the nurse manager, so she needs to be able to assign nurses to where they need to go. And because it's part of the policy that all nurses have to float based off that rotation. I feel like she could have came about it a different way because it was very like aggressive and assertive. Like, but yeah, I was just a little torn between it because I'm like, yes and no.
Yeah.
The tone wasn't appropriate, but I feel like, yes, it was appropriate for her to tell Alex, like, hey, this is our policy. Like, everybody takes a turn. It's your turn. And I know you're a new nurse, but unfortunately, like, just because you're not comfortable with it doesn't mean you're never going to be put in the place where you have to do it, even if you're still uncomfortable. Just because that's how we learn, right? Being put in awkward situations or situations that we don't feel completely comfortable in.
That's exactly what I wrote. I was like, it's not really like fair, but also how is Alex gonna learn if she never goes? Like, you need to be able to be put in those situations to continue to learn. And if she hasn't been put in the situation yet and she keeps pulling what she did, because she was pretty confrontational when she responded about not going, how is she gonna learn from it?
Mm-hmm.
I agree with everything you guys are saying. I kind of approached it a little differently. I mainly focused on the fact that, like, no, it wasn't appropriate because, like, that could put a patient at risk. So putting the hospital up for liability and stuff. So it's good that she spoke up for herself. But like you said, how is she ever going to get that experience if she doesn't go? And also, she is addressing that issue that she's uncomfortable, but she needs to reiterate it again when she does go to like the other floor and stuff, because I'm sure she could get help since they know she's uncomfortable.
Yeah, the same thing that you just said, Lakeisha. It was like the patient thing. I thought about that, and prior to doing the case study and like going through the ATI stuff, I actually read the questions first, and then I went and did all the videos and everything. And initially I was like, oh, that's not fair, without even knowing. But then I watched the videos and went through the modules, and I was like, it's kind of like yes and no, because the nurse manager does have to make hard decisions.
Yeah.
Because, and
I
then
also feel like she said, it was probably somewhere in the policy, and she probably could have pointed out where it was in the policy, and that's something that should have been brought up when she was hired too. So it shouldn't have been that much of a surprise.
yeah. And as a nurse, if you know you're not comfortable at like in a certain area, you're supposed to like, speak out for yourself. So in case like something like that does happen, you can learn before you get pushed into the situation.
Yeah, I think, she could have also just asked more questions like, what am I going to be required to do on that unit? Just like at work during COVID, I worked in the OR, and a lot of the nurses aren't really comfortable with bedside care anymore just because OR and bedside is so completely different. And when COVID happened, we didn't have that many cases in the OR, so we were floating a lot of nurses to do like helping hands on units, and it wasn't like they weren't being assigned patients, but they're helping with like baths and like turning and with all the intubated patients and everything. And I know a lot of them felt very uncomfortable about going to other units, but once they found out that they were only going to be doing helping hands and they weren't actually going to be getting patients assigned to them where they were going to have to do actual floor nursing, then they all relaxed a little bit and like, oh yeah, like we'll go to another unit and help out. So I think asking to like, what are my responsibilities over there going to be would have also helped.
Okay. The next question is, what approach did the manager use when communicating with Alex about refusing to float to the women's unit? I put she used a directive approach. What did you guys get that too?
It was directive, and it was also very confrontational.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I put confronting.
Yeah.
I put confronting too.
Okay. Because I feel like she was like basically like, oh no, you have to go, like, and
It's like, are you refusing?
she said she had no choice basically. And
Mhm.
like Lakeisha said, like I feel like it's not fair because again, what if something happened to the patient, then the charge nurse is going to be the one responsible because she sent her over there.
Mm-hmm.
I think she kind of like matched Alex's energy though, because Alex came very confrontational. So the charge nurse, I feel like, showed that she was also confrontational. Like it was directive, but
Yeah,
she wasn't like backing down from how she was acting.
She was like matching her energy almost.
Yeah, but in the end, she did end up like what's it called? Being like downing down the situation to be more professional.
The next question is, what role was Mia taking when volunteering to go to the women's unit in place of Alex? I put that she was being a team player, because she was offering to go even though it wasn't her turn. She was offering to go for Alex. That way she didn't have to feel uncomfortable, which I think is like great as a colleague, but then I feel like if you're the one always offering to go, you're gonna get burnt out, and then how is that fair? Like people are always gonna just go to you to be the one to take over for them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I put down compromising, because he just did it to resolve the conflict for it not to like escalate anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I use the compromiser role too, just because of like trying to preserve the harmony and being accommodating to like, I'll do it that way we can just end this whole confrontation right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I said she was being a leader and compromising by trying to do conflict resolution.
That's the same thing.
Yeah.
Sorry, hold on. What roles did the manager, Charles, Alex, and Mia play? For the manager, she was obviously like the one who made the decisions. And
yeah, I put that she was the gatekeeper, encouraging the discussion, opening up the door to like having that collaboration between them.
And then for Charles, he was trying to give like solutions or he said he was going to come up with a solution for like the policy that they had, because obviously the policy that they had wasn't working for them.
I put Charles as like the observer.
Same.
But I did. Can someone explain what Alex was to me? I wasn't like really sure like where to put her.
The compromiser?
Would it be the same thing?
I'm sorry?
Would it be the same thing for
compromiser? So the compromiser is the preserves harmony, and then the observer is the keeps records.
Yeah, I put Mia as a compromiser, but I didn't know where to put Alex.
I thought she was more of just like a member.
So I think at the
Towards the end,
end when she became a compromiser because she was trying to take responsibility of like orienting and like being comfortable at other units towards the end. And then Mia was still a compromiser. And I also put her down as a follower just because she was agreeing to taking on other responsibilities, like when she was being asked to, what was it, to write that report, or what was the
read the article, I think.
review or something like that. Yeah. But yeah, I feel like towards the end, Alex was being more of a compromiser and just, trying to preserve that harmony and taking on the responsibility of, becoming comfortable on other units.
And then Mia was also the compromiser too because she went in place of Alex. Okay, and then whose responsibility is it to ensure that a staff nurse is comfortable and prepared to float to another area? And I put that would be like the nurse in charge, so it would have been the manager, because she should make sure that in case they do get floated, they know like the responsibilities of another unit that they could possibly go to. It's kind of, I feel like it's kind of hard in a hospital because you could go so many different places. So
yeah,
I also said themselves because, like we said, you have to advocate for yourself and for the patients.
Yeah, I did nurse manager and the nurse, just because you have that autonomy to like decide, hey, I need more or further education on this because I know I might be put in this situation later on. And just kind of like how nursing licenses, it's not your job's responsibility to keep reminding you that your nursing license needs to be renewed. It's your own responsibility, right? And then all your other like BLCs and all those other things, BLS.
Kind of the same thing.
I
that
mean,
had
how
said
is
earlier. You're supposed to like come early, like speak up for yourself early before like the situation happens. If you're not comfortable with something before it even happens, you're supposed to speak out. So in case, if they ask for extra review, you'd like sign up for something so you can get that extra review and knowing something. So basically speaking up for yourself.
Agreed.
Yeah, because it's both of them, because the manager obviously has to make sure that they're comfortable, but the manager won't ever know they're uncomfortable if the person doesn't tell them. So if they don't say they're uncomfortable, they will always just assume that they'll be fine. So I think it's a mixture of them both having to make sure that that's what they can do.
And then the last question, what approach was the nurse manager using at the end of the meeting? And I feel like she was trying to do like a collaborative approach and try to resolve the issues that they had going on in their unit as far as like floating and stuff. She tried to even ask them what their concerns were, and then she also gave some input on things that she could do too.
Yeah, I put down as the assertive, which approaches she's approaching and giving feedback as well, and then asking for their input, everybody else's input.
She's also
I also did
confronting.
collaborating. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say she's just confronting the situation head on too.
And then I also put collaborating, just because she was opening it up for the unit staff suggestion since the policy was up for revision anyways, and was going directly to them like, what's the best way we can do this in the future?
She was also pretty. Sorry.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
She was also pretty encouraging to the ideas. She really didn't shoot down any ideas.
Yeah, I mean, I put collaborating too because while it was up for revision, she saw from the week prior what had happened. And so she took the initiative to realize that maybe it wasn't in the like appropriate way that it was being handled. And she listened to all of their ideas and made sure that they stayed professional. Like when I forget his name, but when he started to kind of confront Alex, she was like, okay, remain professional. So she kept it in a whole collaborating like tone instead.
Yeah, she set the tone.